Hello, hello. Welcome to today's episode of the TRG Agency Podcast. I have a dear friend. You may know him from being a LinkedIn influencer. Probably far more likely you know him from his recent appearance on the CJ Hoops podcast. Austin Null, Chief Creator Officer at We Get It. Austin, how you doing today?
Good, man. Appreciate you for having me on. Yeah, actually, we kept trying to start this podcast, but we kept talking about sports from the sports podcast that we also did together. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess we're going to talk about business, but at the end
Yeah,
of the day,
that's
CJ Hoops, No.
100%. Yeah, please follow along at TRGSE Agency on YouTube and Instagram and our LinkedIn as well, or throw at CJ Hoops Pod Basketball or CJ Hoops Pod. If you're a basketball fan on all social media platforms, you can see Austin break down both influencer marketing and how the Spurs pick and roll is the deadliest play in basketball. Uh, Austin, man, we've known each other a long time. I know when we first met, you're one of the only people I've ever been friends with in the business that really has the perspective both as a creator and now as a executive on the agency side. So before we get into the questions, would love to just hear a little bit about your path, how you got into this space, and how sort of being a creator helped inform as you went into the business side of the influencer marketing space.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about it a lot, but I really do. More and more people I'm seeing are kind of going down a path that I've gone down, but it is very rare to have someone that is working in influencer marketing as we know it, which continues to modernize, and I would say we're a decade in maybe now. But before all that, I was a full-time YouTuber. And so, it's very rare to be able to say I've done this successfully and then now I've come over here and done this successfully. And not that I don't think myself that way, but it's just a unique perspective, right? Of being able to understand what both sides are looking for. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess just a quick background. I started making YouTube videos in like 2010, ended up graduating college, moved out to LA to work at a YouTube network called Full Screen, where I was doing their social media and working with their top creators, but still making content myself. Left there, was a full-time creator, so also kind of, being early on with like the YouTube MCN space, then being a creator, and then did that for a few years, which was really fun and what I always wanted to do. And then also I kind of had an existential crisis and was like, I don't think I want to live my life in front of the internet. It's not great for me. So came over to the agency side in 2017 and started working at different advertising agencies. And man, that's like almost 9 years now of doing that. Where I worked on brands like Intel and Samsung in the tech space doing influencer marketing, Popeyes and Wingstop in the QSR, a bunch of other brands. So got a lot of great experience understanding how agencies work and working with big brands. And eventually, though, launched my own agency a year ago now called We Get It, where I just wanted to do something different. So what I'm really focused on is working with creators early and bringing in creators as like freelancers to build the strategy and the creative for campaigns, and then use creators to also execute the content, whether that's on their own channels or on brand channels or whatever. So mainly just have creators be part of every step of the process is what I'm focused on.
How do you think that helps differentiate We Get It when actually bringing the creator so early on in the process?
Yeah, I think it's a couple different things. One, I because I was a creator, I also just understand the value that creators bring.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've noticed in the industry is everyone talks about that. Everyone is like, we have to value creators. And then I was working at these agencies and just watching how the actual work is done. I'm like, we're not valuing anything we're using them as do what we say. We're treating their ideas like TV scripts. We're like, strike that, get rid of this, add this, and it's like we're losing the plot of what actually works on social. So yeah, just kind of like being knowing their value, but then seeing how it's a lot of talk but not actual follow through in terms of valuing creators. That's what I just wanted to go ahead and branch out and do something different. And so really put the work, your money where your mouth is, or whatever, however that phrase works, but like actually do the work the right way. So valuing the creators by bringing them in early. Also, even just offering new ways to like pay creators where it's like, hey, I may not even need you to make content. I just want to pay you for your thoughts and creativity because you know what you're doing with your own channel. So yeah, it just wasn't really working in terms of the systems and structures that exist at traditional agencies.
I know when you started We Get It, I think everyone loved the name so much because there is an element in the industry of those that get it. And we see brands all the time coming into the space that don't get it. But for you, having been in this industry now for, as you mentioned, over a decade, both as a creator and on the executive front, it's easy to say a brand doesn't get it, but what does that actually look like in execution? You know, you mentioned the example of using it as a sort of a TV model where you're scraping certain things on the cutting room floor. What is something that when you've been in these rooms, you're able to very easily differentiate? This is a brand that does get it, and this may be a collaboration that has all the tools to be successful, but doesn't because of that lack of understanding.
Yeah, I mean, a brand that gets it is someone that's willing to do something different. And that was my biggest struggle being in these big agencies. The thing I've really just harped a lot on is it's just outdated systems and structures. There's a reason we've been seeing so much consolidation of the holding companies just grabbing every agency possible. And then it's like, now we have 4 influencer agencies, but now it's our influencer offering. It's like, everyone is just trying to make the existing thing that won't survive continue to survive. And so a brand that gets it is a brand that's going to understand, hey, maybe we don't need to just, you know, give you our brief, then you take 2 months to create a new idea, and then after we review it for another month, then we go to some creators and we say, hey, you want to be part of this thing we created? And it's like, no, because the thing you created is irrelevant because social moves faster than the speed of light, right? So working with brands that are willing to try something new, like, hey, maybe we strip things down and bring in very bespoke creator options that can fill in different parts of, creative ideas or different strategies that we're trying to align to. Yeah, it just makes things, it's different, but it's simpler. And the biggest thing I was always running into working at these agencies was just like, I would bring up an idea of like, hey, what if we try this? And they're like, well, we can't do that because of XYZ, or we can't do this because it'll affect our margins here. Or it's like all these, everything was about money at the end of the day. And I just want to do fun work. Obviously, money's involved, but if you want to do work that resonates on social, you're going to have to do it different. And I'm also just a big fan of empowering existing communities that exist as opposed to trying to hijack your way in. And to empower, you need to come alongside and work with, and creators are the ones that are, running social and building out culture every day. So
I know that's something that since we first started talking, when you may have even been as early as Divergent, that's always been such a massive point of emphasis for you. And representation is something that has become a bit of a buzzword in today's corporate parlance, where all brands all the time are talking about representation in all facets. For you over the past decade, is that something you feel has had an honest change?
yeah, I mean, well, over the past decade, we've had a lot of crazy things happening, especially like a decade ago around like representation and diversity, equity, inclusion, and truly valuing that. That was something that always resonated with me. Kind of a little background I'll give is like when I was a YouTuber, I was making videos with my ex-wife at the time. I'm remarried now, but my ex-wife, who's black, and we would have brands that would come to us and they would be like, oh, hey, we want to reach like young black millennial women and be part of this campaign. And it was always very niche and like small budgets, but it was big brands. And I would see the other work they did. So that's what started making me think about it in the context of this space of like, well, why don't we just fully integrate more representative, creators into work across the board and not just these little niche one-off things. Fast forward to now, I think some brands have actually done a really good job of that. Others have gone the opposite way, where it's like, yeah, we're actually just going to get rid of our entire DEI initiative as a brand, right? So I think there's been a split. That being said, the thing that I'm always focused on with anything I do is how can we tell different stories, and really I try to also push just brands to think differently. Man, the amount of times I've been talking to brands and they're like, hey, we'll ask, hey, who's the target audience you're going after? And they're like, well, we did this research and here's who it is. And it's $100,000 household income, 35-year-old white moms in the suburbs, and it's like laundry detergent. I'm like, wait, so no one else buys laundry detergent? No one else washes their clothes? Like, it's just simple things, once again, to the systems and structures that even affects these types of things where brands are just, this is how we've done it. We had a research focus group, and yeah, maybe these people buy our stuff more, but that means we can't market to anyone else. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of things that we have to break down. My biggest focus on any of the work I do now is just asking why. And if there's not a good answer, I don't really care if it's been done for 30 years. I don't care if it's the new trend. I question trends all the time. You know what I mean? So it's like, why? Why are we doing this? What is the purpose? And if you're intentional about that, you'll start to just naturally see more representation of different types of people, voices, walks of life represented into the work that you're doing for clients as well.
No, man, 100%. And I'd love to get actually keep talking about these systems and sort of how outdated they are. And I'd love to know, is there any recent work you've done with We Get It that you could sort of walk the audience through in terms of, a project you've had and sort of how your updated systems and processes have helped be able to build out sort of a different style campaign and really, promote We Get It and the brands you're working with?
Yeah, I'm not sure when this is going live, but one of the things I'm most excited about is I've been working with Einstein Bros, and we started working together like at the end of last year, and I've been doing I was doing some one-off kind of influencer marketing stuff for them, but uh, I one of the things I've always been passionate about is trying to revamp brand social channels to be creator led. There's been examples of it. It's not like it's the first to be done, but so often what I would see is a lot of brands they'll bring some creator stuff in and then it's a lot of other stuff and it's just like no one wants to see a lot of this other stuff. So if we're all scrolling on social, we're seeing creators. And so we're revamping and about to start launching just always on creator led content. That's I'm really excited about. And the biggest thing I would say is just helping them realize that there's a much faster way to get to better content through creators as opposed to, all right, well, we got to come up with all these ideas. A lot of times creators are going to have better ideas than your internal ideas. Then it's like, okay, well, who do we want to make these? Maybe some are creators, which at that point too, you're now asking a creator to make a different idea that they didn't come up with. So there's already friction. Other times it's like, we'll do it internally and it feels overly produced like an ad, right? So it's just the thing that's been helpful is just kind of showing brands, hey, by bringing in these creators early, you're getting to better ideas that they're coming up with. Then they're executing it for you, but it's on behalf of your channel, and it still makes sense in the feed, and it still answers all the different things you're trying to get to in terms of brand messaging and promos and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. It seems almost simple to me. It's just not that many brands are doing it always on, and so that's what I'm really trying to get to. And I'm really excited about the content that's about to start coming out for Einstein Bros that we've been working on.
Amazing, man. We're yeah, it's going to be really awesome to see it. I know you've been working with them for a while, so I'm excited to see some of that. And I think that's another area, and maybe you can actually give the audience a little bit of insight into. These are campaigns that go live, but have a massive amount of work behind the scenes that go into getting them live. So obviously,
Yeah.
every campaign is different. You can't ever generalize too much. But for you, as now an agency owner, how much runway do you like to have to actually ensure that a campaign can have enough quality control while also being current? It's a little bit of a tough needle to thread, but how do you try to make sure that you're doing the best work possible, but also getting it out in a way that it's not going to be stale by the time it goes live?
Yeah, I mean, it's really it does come down to the systems and structures part because in a traditional agency, to even get to ideas, it's okay, well, let's bring in the brand strategist to make sure it aligns with the brand. And then, okay, let's add in the social strategist too so that we can get that social POV on top of this brand strategy. All right, cool. Now we've got some good baseline. Let's bring in the creative director and the art director and we'll get their ideas and they'll come up with the real ideas. And then, so it's like we've already gone through 2 weeks of just ideas, 3 weeks, right? On this side with creators, one, you do have to get clients that are willing to think outside the box and accept that things aren't going to be polished. which is good actually on social. Like I mean, depending on the brand, obviously, if you're like a Coach or I don't know, Gucci or somebody, right? Like you may want a little bit more polished stuff. But for a lot of brands, you just need to fit in and do stand out in your own way. But all that to say, like, yeah, working with creators is just so much easier, in my opinion. There's a lot of like prep that you have to go into with the client to make sure like you're setting expectations of how it's going to go, what to expect. But in my experience, once I bring the creators in, we're off and running. I mean, you have content, like a whole month's worth of content within 3 weeks, sometimes four.
Man, so something that we also talk a lot about, both on this podcast and whenever you and I chat offline, there's a ton of creators now and a ton of agencies, and it's sort of just becoming it's an industry that continues to rapidly accelerate in terms of growth. So you've been around a long time, you've worked with a lot of creators, you've worked with a lot of agencies. What are things that you're looking for when you're looking for potential partners in terms of what distinguishes between a good creator that you want to work with again and someone where you're like, I may work with you this time, but I'm very confident this is going to be the last time I'm working with you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say, I mean, the things that I definitely, or maybe the red flags first is just not being communicative, not being on time, saying you're going to saying you're going to like, you write out a concept and it's like, this is what I'm going to do. Then you do something totally different. Like those types of things, major red flags. But the biggest thing is, I want a lot of creators now, they have so much talent. And just because maybe they don't have as much success, like, yeah, they have 50,000 followers, but they don't have 500,000. Or they don't get that many average views, the content is still good. And from a brand perspective, you're able to work with someone that understands the bones of what good social content is, and allowing them to take a brand and what a brand is trying to get across, but just give their own creative spin on it, is already going to be better than what the brand is doing most times. So even like on this didn't blow up and get 1 million views, we're already winning in a lot of ways, right? So that baseline is a good place to start. The other thing too about creators is that you're able to evolve. Just like creators, they're going to release a video. They might release 5 videos and none of them do that great. And then the 6th video is awesome. When you're working with them on behalf of brands in this always on kind of manner, you can evolve with them, right? And so it's not that it's going to be perfect right away, but you'll find the wins, you'll understand certain things that work and don't work, and you can grow with them as opposed to just doing a one-off thing. That didn't hit, like an influencer campaign, right? Like that happens all the time where it's like, man, I love their videos, but this one didn't hit. And like it happens, right? At least with working with creators on a more ongoing basis, whether it is influencer marketing or having them create content for the brand channel, you can really just you can just build together a lot easier.
Amazing, man. Yeah, I got two more questions for you, and then we're going to do some rapid fire, but we really, really appreciate your time. So you sort of touched on it there in terms of, if I were to say to you, give advice to Austin 12 years ago, when you're just getting into this whole space, you can give it to Austin the influencer, you can give it to Austin the influencer executive. What's something that you look back on now and say, if I would have known this piece 12 years ago, I would have, I would have just looked at this entire industry a little differently?
Man, 12 years ago, I would have just, grabbed TikTok.com maybe just to make sure I like make a lot of money. No, I think the biggest thing, the biggest learning that I had, especially coming over to the agency side from the creator side, which is kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it. It really was, I came in having had a successful creator career and understanding how things work in that space. And then I tried to apply a lot of that to the agency world, and I was like, man, why is this not working? Like, I feel like things aren't going like I would expect. And then I just had to learn the systems and structures and how to mold into it. The funny thing about it is that I did that and it was helpful, but then my ultimate conclusion at the end of the day, even after having success, was fuck this shit. I'm going to go make my own because these systems and structures are outdated and they're not changing anytime soon because they're all under these umbrellas of, conglomerates that are just going to keep taking the money. There's so much money in the space. The talent is not compensated. People are burned out from all the work. A lot of brands are just getting stolen from. Like the amount of money that some of these agencies are charging, and just like you could wipe your ass with it. Like it's ridiculous. So I guess now I'm just on a soapbox talking about the problems with the agency. But I guess like learning earlier that these systems and structures are really the barriers to a lot of the success. I would have probably wanted to know that to learn how to wade into doing my own thing, which I am happy I'm doing now. But I think I could have maybe even been earlier to come in and set more of a tone and also push things. Like I just want to push the industry to be better and think differently and try new things. And so, yeah, being able to do that might have been helpful earlier.
Yeah, and so I love it. And that's actually the last question I have for you as we look back 12 years, but now I want to look forward a couple of years. So you mentioned it in terms of agencies are continuing to evolve. We're seeing that in the space now. Agency life from 10 to 15 years ago, elements of that are already changing, and it seems like now changing even quicker in some instances. Maybe that's environmental. Agency life looks like at the end of this decade. Is it more creator focused? Is it more in line with We Get It? Are there elements of that that can mix in with sort of the legacy agency world? Paint top of the arc.
Obviously, AI is going to take over everything, and we're not going to have jobs. No, no, I'm very anti all that bullshit. Which I'm sure a lot of people would maybe tell you the opposite of. Yeah, agencies are just going to be agentic, AI bullshit. I don't know. Some people may say that. For me, I actually think, maybe I'm just too hopeful, but I do think it is true. I think we're actually going back to a little bit of a renaissance of the word authenticity has been thrown around way too much in the industry, especially in influencer marketing. But I actually have had no problem with it because I think the word has meaning, and the meaning has been lost through so much of influencer marketing. And so I think getting back to what true authenticity is, even I talked about earlier, a lot of problems in agencies are the systems and structures and how they approach creator content and treating it like a TV spot. That is where the authenticity was lost. People are always like, oh, influencer marketing, I don't know, like it seems like it's just a lot of the same stuff. It is because the brands and the agencies forced the creators to be like that. They weren't like that before. So I think creators, especially with what I'm trying to do, empower creators to be themselves a little bit more. Like I've even over the years doing influencer campaigns, I'll find a creator I love, and then I'm like, yo, you did this video. This would be so cool if you did something similar and we did it like this. And then they'll just send over the most bland, boring video to review, and it's just, I'm an influencer. Check out this product. And I'm like, where'd the creativity go? So many creators have, been kind of almost brainwashed by the brands and agencies to just, this is what they want to see. I'm just going to do it. So I think a renaissance of getting back to authenticity in real life activations are going to be a big part of that. So I think, creators aren't going anywhere and social media is not going anywhere, but I think it's going to have to be both and. So we entertain, we get things across, we educate, we inform, we inspire, whatever, through this really awesome creator-led social content for brands. And then what does that look like in real life? Well, what's the in real life tie-in? Maybe it's bringing these creators and their audiences out. Maybe it's doing the exclusive pop-ups. It's like these things already kind of exist, but I think tying them to social and maybe certain things happening on social more is going to be more important, with the goal of just being truly creative and truly authentic, and not just checking boxes of like, oh, we did this, all right, on to the next, or we did this influencer partnership that we were supposed to do, but we didn't really try that hard to do anything unique or different. It's just another carbon copy paste, influencer partnership. Like, I think, just pushing to be different and unique and get back to being authentic.
Yeah, I love it, and your perspective is always so great. There's just so few people that have been in as many different parts of this industry as you have. So I think everyone listening is just going to be really grateful to get to hear all of that, all of those different experiences, because as you mentioned, there's just so few people in the space that have sort of worn all of the hats that you have. So, man, before we get you out of here, we always do like to finish with some rapid fire. Some of this is work related, some of this is not work related. Rapid meaning quick. So please limit your answers to a couple of words, whatever comes to mind first. And man, again, we really appreciate your time. And at the end, I want you to shout out all your socials. But let's get into some rapid fire. Favorite partnership you've executed so far in 2026?
Bros No Breakfast with Einstein Bros.
Favorite partnership you didn't execute but you saw on social in 2026?
Anything Olandria from Love Island did.
I actually too watch Love Island, so I finally get to know what we're talking about. Underrated platform that you expect brands to invest more in the next few years.
Weirdly enough, Twitter.
Love it. Creator you'd want to be for a day.
Keith Lee.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really, really good one. Most overused word in corporate digital marketing speak right now.
Damn, I don't know, man. I mean, I said authenticity earlier,
I
so
thought
maybe
when you
I'll
said
say
that, I was
that.
laughing.
But, well, I don't know, because I think never mind. I'm losing the rapid fire thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Synergies was a minus 200 favorite coming in.
Oh,
It's a shocking
synergies,
low.
yes. Man,
Circle
so
back is
you know
also
the
a nice
problem
dark word.
is I've been out on my own for a year, and I have been free. I'm not having to hear this bullshit as much in the agency world, so that's really what. Yeah, I don't even know anymore what's in.
Yeah, we can hop on a call to circle back to explore synergies. What's one app you couldn't do your job without?
TikTok.
Okay. Last, most important question. For those that don't know, Austin played college basketball. He is not only a basketball podcaster, he is a hooper. Austin, who is your NBA comp? Who do you play like?
Oh, like in real life, who do I play like?
Yes.
Oh, I mean Kobe. People literally say he's my favorite of all time. All I did was watch Kobe. No, I was so dead ass, man. I'm gonna send you some clips. People literally say that I play like Kobe.
Dude, that is incredible. Because whenever I get asked that question, I pick like the guy at the end of the bench. I'm like Josh McRoberts if he tore both Achilles and had a herniated disc in his back. Or like Nick Collison, like 17 injuries ago. You say Kobe, dude, you are an absolute one of one. Before we get you out of here, where can everyone follow along with you? With We Get It, please shout out any and all social channels.
Yeah, I'm not as active for We Get It. I have a LinkedIn for We Get It, but just follow me, Austin Null, on LinkedIn for sure. That's where I'm talking about all things work, but try to tie in culture into it and mix of real serious and or just ridiculous, goofy stuff. I mean, yeah, that's probably the main thing. Instagram, I'm just like posting my wife and kids and some food. So yeah.
And you're also now, if you ask Austin for highlights of him playing like Kobe Bryant, you too can find that on LinkedIn and Instagram. So
yeah,
we're all excited for that.
I definitely have videos of it on Instagram if you go far enough back. So I'll go find it and send you some.
Man, dude, Austin, you are the absolute best. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the time, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Easy. Thanks.